let's talk about Eso Meta. So what is Eso Meta analysis? Eso Meta analysis is a system developed by yours truly over the last 21 years. I started it when I was studying to be a stockbroker. And basically what it is, it's a system of meta pattern recognition. So a meta pattern is like a pattern on a grand scale. Like you're inside of it, you can't see the whole pattern because your life generally doesn't last long enough to see that there's a pattern. It's that big of a pattern, a meta pattern. But the thing is that the entire reality that we all live in, it's like a mini version. It's a fractal. If you know what a fractal is, it's a pattern of itself repeating, getting larger and smaller with slight permutations. Those permutations are the choices. Those are the alternate realities, the parallel realities. In any case, so you can find a small version, and if you've got enough as far as like developing your intuition and listen to your senses, and you've developed all that stuff, you can basically pick up on segments of the meta pattern on a smaller scale and then utilize that to project. And that's really what the tarot pick up on. The tarot pick up on these meta patterns, these energetic frequencies that are a pattern, and by that I mean like they coincide with a lot of other things in reality, happenings, physical things, all sorts of stuff like that. The spreads that I created, they don't exist elsewhere. These things that I call associators rather than significators allow me to pinpoint highs and lows. A new spread that I just developed like last week now will allow me to pinpoint local highs and the highs, local lows and the lows. So I'm pretty excited to get into that one. Over the last 21 years, I basically just did the S&P. I mean, there was a few years where I had to do other stuff, but for the most part, I was doing day after day after day, trading the S&P 500 with real money using tarot. And the tarot was just a portion of that. I would identify portions of the year in which I wanted to actually do the trading, and then in there I would isolate areas utilizing the tarot. Astrology gives you the environment. So around Mercury retrograde, there's a lot of volatility. That's the environment, right? But then the cards are going to give me the actual weather inside of that environment. So I'll know when there's a thunderstorm, when it's sunny. That's kind of what the tarot does. And so when you combine those two, you get a lot as far as like meta patterns. Astrology is another kind of meta pattern, if you will. And you combine that with several other esoteric sorts of knowledge and tidbits of like understanding and techniques, extrasensory techniques to draw this information. When you combine those three, you get Eso Meta analysis. And I mean, on the last CNBC $1 million portfolio challenge, I'll dig it up because I have a photo. I was in the top 2%, and I hadn't even figured out Eso Meta yet. I was just using tarot. And here's the crazy thing. That was the last time they did that competition because the top 1%, they caught them cheating. They were doing something where like you leave your browser window open, and if you're wrong, you close it the next morning or something like that. Something along those lines. Very convenient for CNBC to get all of that media coverage, all of that like publicity, and then not have to pay out. Interesting, right? So that was the last one. They canceled the contest. I would have been in the top 1% in the fucking world. That was the story of my childhood, almost. I had more to learn, more struggles, more things to overcome so that I could become stronger and persevere through things like 21 years of people telling me that I'm crazy for using tarot. Oh, I lost this money because I'm not following anything, I'm just doing tarot. No, it's not that. It's because I was learning. You fail your way to success, guys. And I was doing something that nobody ever did or even attempted to do, right? So the real power here with Eso Meta analysis comes from the fact that you can really get a lot of information that answers questions that technical analysis won't answer. Like, it's headed towards a support level. Is the price going to bounce off the support level? It's going to break through it. Technical analysis, you don't know until you get the confirmation. Tarot will tell you ahead of time. Eso Meta will tell you ahead of time the answer to that question. So combining technical analysis and Eso Meta analysis together is how I've gone from just like a random trader to somebody with on average, a 98% accuracy predicting the stock market. And we rate that based on number of correct statements made divided by number of statements made. So if I had 9 correct statements out of 10 statements, that would be a 90% accuracy. So my average is 98% accuracy. This isn't a fluke. It's not like I do it once a month. Eso Meta analysis combined with that it's such a powerful thing because there's also holes in the information that you get from Eso Meta analysis. I mean, that's the nature of psychic information. There's a lot of pieces that may be missing, although the system I developed, it really does iron out a lot of the missing components. It's really crazy because of how detailed it's become. But the thing is the technical analysis usually answers those holes. So it's like having an x plus y equals z kind of equation, right? X plus y equals z. And you're like, how do I solve this? How do I solve this? Well, it's like you have that equation and you've got the y, and then you have the same equation next to it, but you don't have the y, you have the x. Now you take those two and you're like, when I put them together, I've got x and y, bam, there's z. That is how Eso Meta analysis works in conjunction with technical trading in real time. Because you'll see on the video of today, I almost 100% accurately depicted, like exactly on the chart, where the prices would turn around, where the highs, where the lows would be. There was 2 areas towards the end of the day that I needed to adjust slightly, and even so at the beginning of the day I said these 2 I'll most likely have to adjust them a little bit based on where the price of the stock goes, and that's it. That's how it goes. Sometimes you don't need to, but you can expect that you will, and that's no problem because I still know the sequence of events. The technical analysis answers price questions and all sorts of stuff. That's really what that component is. It's about space, versus Eso Meta is really about timing in space, if that makes sense. It's also something that can be taught. I've got on the website Tarot for Traders, there's literally a library of the information that I compiled from thousands of daily S&P 500 posts. I was trading SPY. Mostly, I did other stocks too, but really for the purposes of the research, about 500 are on that blog post because I started doing this in like the end of 2019 on the actual blog. But there's also like another 500 that have already been done that are in draft form ready to come out, and there's all the ones that I never even documented before blogs. I was doing this before there were blogs, guys. I've been doing this since E-Trade was the only online broker that long.